Hi, it's Stefan here. Welcome back to my breakdown of episode 9, my favorite scenes from episode 9. That was the goal when I set out to do this video. And then I realized it's so difficult. I can't pick one favorite scene. There are so many. And also this episode is very specific in many ways. It really feels like this is about a specific journey that Ji-yeon goes through. Her character in this episode gets put through hell and back. I'm going to just pick her journey apart a little bit and go from step to step her character development through this, specifically of course in relation to Dong Hoon. So if that's okay, we'll do it slightly differently this time. Let me know what you think of this format. So let's start at the beginning when they are going on the train. You will have known or remember that she had just been having to talk to the CEO again. And he basically suggested that Dong Hoon liked her anyway, and so she should just hang out with him and take some more money. And she has agreed, and we understand why, because she later on also mentions in this episode, if she doesn't do it, then he will hire somebody else. This way at least she can protect Dong Hoon. And she makes that very clear in the first scene. But first she misses her stop, and we're having an insight into their state of mind, both of them actually. So let's have a quick look at that moment because it's beautifully shot. They've both been deep in thought, and he's just realized though that he's about to miss a stop, so he's jumping out. Love that shot, how she just literally gets moved out of the picture, and the look on her face is just what the kind of state is that she's in right now. She's just sort of all in for Dong Hoon, and she is, she realizes that she's missed her stop, and both of them look really upset about that. And when he comes out, we learn how he reacts to this moment. And basically what it shows you is that he doesn't know what to do, because he really expected to be seeing her now. They go and walk together and have a chat at least. I know he's going to eat tuna in a minute, but he seems to now really miss the fact that she's not there. He doesn't know what to do. Should I text her? Should I call her? Should I say something that I won't be here? And he's really thinking about that now. And I feel like he's then convincing himself, well, no, like he has done in the past, he has this tendency to just basically rationalize himself out of showing any feelings. And so even though it may seem that they are the most important people in each other's lives at this point. And this is what this scene shows me, to be honest, that they're both the key people in each other's lives right now. Even though that's the case, he kind of puts that down, and then he walks off and tries to find an excuse to hang around, but at the same time doesn't want to stand there now and wait for her, because that would seem maybe weird. And yet his instinct is to do that. It's like, what am I doing? Maybe I just need to get on with my life. You know, we don't have a relationship, so why am I standing here thinking about waiting for her, you know? It's that odd thing that's going on with them, where there is so much more going on, but yet they're both pretending that it's not. So he goes off trying to find an errand to run, or he probably runs an errand. I don't know what you think, whether he makes that up in that moment, or whether there is an errand that he really needed to run and he knew that already. But let's have a look at Jian's situation now. Love how they shot that. It says so much that she's running now up the stairs, down the stairs to get on the first train back to see if he's still there. It's such a romantic scene, this one, without very much happening. But in the context, it's so significant, isn't it? To see her like really rushing to get back on to the right station and to see if he's hopefully still there so she can walk with him a little bit. So he's done his shopping and he's out there and he's waiting. And we see him now noticing that she's been running up and looking for him. And that's significant, isn't it? That means he understands that she's been running to see him. And that's on many levels romantic. Now she's putting her headphones in. And this is so interesting for me personally, because it hints at something that's happening later. And that is that he would find out that she's listening to him. Then, because why would she put her headphones in at this point when she clearly is looking for him? And the way he looks at her is interesting. Have a look. As an audience, there's so much going on there that leads us to think in many directions. I thought as well that first when I watched it, it gives you a hint that he might find out that she is listening to him, right? Secondly, he's observing her very intently, and it shows a lot of his focus on her and how much she means to him. When she sees him, her face is always really like she has this ability to just communicate everything through her eyes or her face. And so this to me screams high romance, really, without it being romantic, but it feels romantic. See, the first look was like, you know, and now he's controlling it and she's getting into that zone. And now they get into their how they communicate with each other zone, even though they just had that romantic moment of, is he still there? Oh, there he is. And he goes, oh, there she is. And he's observing her. So it's very, very romantic, even though there is hardly anything going on. And with the music as well, I love this music, how it enhances that mood, because it feels like we're now all settling in, relaxing, because they have found each other. It's so strongly communicated that it's like, they found each other and they're both relieved. And it comes across through the music and through them. And she's probably just taken another deep breath in and it's like, and it's like they're so in need of each other here at this point in the drama. That is heartbreaking, the way the drama develops. I want to fast forward a little bit. I know that hurts, but otherwise this video is going to be 60 minutes. To the bit when she talks to him and says to him, when they talk and they talk about her work and stuff. And then he says, oh, basically, let's have a look at it.
꼭 상무돼요. 될 거예요.
도준형이 가만히 있겠냐? 내가 상무되면 지가 잘리는 건데 이젠 똥줄을 타서 면접 다 할 거다.
걱정 마요. 될 거예요.
This is crucial. I think this is so, on many levels, really deep, because she basically says, don't worry, you will get promoted. And basically she's saying out loud that she will protect him. That's the subtext here. It's like she says it in such a way that it's clear, don't worry. Screw him over, get him fired, ruin him, do whatever you want. I'm on your side. She obviously doesn't express exactly what that means because she doesn't give him the backstory, but it's obvious that she has taken the money from the CEO but she's working against him, and she has taken the money in order to protect Dong Hoon, and that's what her plan is, and it's clear, and it comes across here. So at this stage, everything is in order, okay? Then, of course, the terrible thing happens. Kwang Il calls Dong Hoon and throws a massive spanner in the work because it gives Dong Hoon a massive wobble, who then starts to question her motives in the first place. And it's interesting because it also shows really how even somebody like Dong Hoon could get very disturbed by finding something negative out about her, even though they have shared so many different moments, even though they have developed so much trust with each other, that one thing can really throw him so massively is really quite interesting to see, and it's heartbreaking when you look at her journey.
가라.
밥 좀 사주죠.
This scene, honestly, the way she asks, she seems so vulnerable at that point. And it's heartbreaking that he just goes, maybe next time, because he's found out that she might have stolen the money rather than saved him. And the way she keeps standing there is just heartbreaking, the way she acted as well.
다음에 먹자.
And she's bought him a present because he's helped her find a place for her grandmother. And he looks at her quite coldly in this one and just basically gives a non-committal answer. And yeah, it's the first hit she's getting. Even that detail, that they shot it in such a way that she just loosens her grip on her present. It's significant and yet such a beautiful detail without any crazy overacting. That's all you need to see. And yeah, how she takes that in is such a shock to her system. And it gets worse. And this is why the next scene that I want to show you is probably the one before the last one that is really, really, really moving for me. Let's have a quick look at it. It's when they talk about her, him and his workmates, when they talk about Li Jian and about the situation. And for the first time, he's not defending her and he's acting like one of them. It's heartbreaking to me. Let's have a look.
식당에서 윤상 우리 테이블로 앉을 때부터 느낌 쎄했어요. 정대리는 그냥 부장님 너무 반대해서 파견 집회도 반대하다 뭐 그런 투였는데 막 이상하게 엮으려고 막 몰아가는데 그럴 법한 애랑 엮은 말을 안 해. 진짜 아무것도 안 내라. 넌 뭐라 그랬거든? 너 내 뒷담화 잘 거잖아. 아, 제가 뭐라 그래?
And this is such an amazing, I mean, this is nothing. I mean, it seems like nothing, but it's a huge thing, isn't it? In the context of the drama. When she's listening in on this, he says, between you and someone like her, and everybody expects him to say, normally you would have said, what do you mean someone like her? Watch your mouth or something like that. But this time, what does he say? Oh, you like bad-mouthing me. Which, when she listens to that, it's like a stab in the heart, obviously. And it just felt really horrible to listen to because he's become now like everybody else, like not the good-natured person. And it's interesting that this detail about that she took the money, she stole the money, or tried to steal the money, that is what caused him to pull back like this. It's, you know, it's impactful and it's heartbreaking for her.
그래요, 저 진짜 한마디도 안 했어요. 진짜예요. 자꾸 걔랑 부장님이랑 이상한 쪽으로 엮는 것 같아서 그런 거 아니다. 그냥 한 동네 살아서 좀 친한 것뿐이다. 잘했다. 잘했어. 어? 아는 사이였던 거지 둘이. 우리 회사에 이력서 넣어라. 그럼 내가 뽑아주겠다. 그래서 뽑아준 거지. 잘했다. 그렇게는 아니죠. 역적으로 들면 뭐는 문이 없고.
So she's taken this in really also with a view of like understanding how she can protect him best. And at the same time, the fact that he doesn't defend her and actually agrees with some of the things that they say, and that the most important thing comes up in a second, is super hurtful.
시작을 하긴 했었지만 이렇게까지 나올 줄 몰랐네. 정말 말도 안 되는 애랑, 예? 말도 안 되게.
그러니까 내가 자르자고 했을 때 잘랐으면 이런 일 없잖아요. 그런 걸 왜 뽑으셨어요?
If he says that one more time, someone like her, you just really want to slap him. And the fact that he doesn't defend her is just so significant and yet so subtle.
스펙 좋은 애도 엄청 많았다며. 괜히 이력서에 아무것도 없고. 근데 뭐에 끌렸는데요? 달리기.
And she obviously listens to this and she remembers that time they had when they were laughing together, and he asked her, she asked him, why did you hire me? And he said, because you put running. And it was such a important moment in their relationship, and now
뭐에 끌렸는데요? 내가 아니야? 몰랐고. 미안하다, 광순이랑.
yeah. And even though this seems so insignificant, this is so heartbreaking, and it's beautifully shot and acted, as you'll see. It's almost like he's denying her now. It's like Judas and Jesus Christ, like, it's almost like his relationship to her is completely voided now, and that's it. She's lost him forever, and she has to go back to whatever life was like before him. It's so sad. And also Dong Hoon in this situation is, just not as aware and thoughtful as we would have expected from him, really. But he's making up for that later. But it's heartbreaking because she was so all in for him at this point, trying to give him a present, and it's just getting knocked back into oblivion at this stage. This bit is heartbreaking to me because it's just so sad how she goes back to, she just looks so hurt and rejected and beaten up here. And this is the moment when you really see her giving up again and say to herself, that was it. I am back to giving up on humanity again. Even though that seems a massive statement, but this is what it feels like. And as well, this scene when she just walks off is just perfect. Especially since the office bitch, the bully in the making, who's trying to always get one over on her, is talking to her and she just completely ignores her. This is how you show a person's state of mind through action rather than through shouting and screaming or talking about it. This is so perfect. And she goes off and back into incommunicado and just not talking to people. And, just, isn't listening to him, nothing. She just wants to be away. She's so broken by this. Let's have a look at the last scene, because that really is the moment when Dong Hoon comes through for her, and she has probably the biggest cathartic moment in the whole drama, which is when they're fighting, and this happens. Love on Dong Hoon's face, you can see that he is shocked, but you can see at the same time that he's shocked because of what this means for her. I think he can sort of see why she is the way she is because of that moment and how that has colored all of her life, because she had to go through that. And it's interesting how he thinks it's because he's shocked that she would do that, but because he knows the backstory, the next thing he says is the following. And heartbreaking again, because she thinks right now, oh, that's it. He won't talk to me even more now. But she doesn't know that he knows more.
너한테도 줄게요. 내 식구 피랑 새끼들.
And of course, this is the big moment for her when she hears him say that. It obviously means that it's a huge release for her that he would understand what she did and what she went through. And that's why she has a huge cry. Has a big, big cathartic cry moment, and it's just like getting it all out of her system, all the tears that she needs to cry. And that's the end of the episode, of course, and it's going on for a while, and it really seems to be helping her to find a little bit more peace within herself, that somebody like Dong Hoon would understand what she did. Huge journey for her, beautifully acted by IU in this episode. And I just thought I'd break it up like this because it is so much about her stress and her journey from heaven to hell and back into maybe a better place in the current situation. But we all need these moments when we have a huge cry because something's come out, some trauma has been released. And I feel really this is about him releasing her trauma in this episode by basically doing what he's doing. And he's also kind of working it out himself, and he's getting rid of his guilt for treating her badly again and thinking bad things about her, when actually now he understands. It's so much about empathy and how just by taking a step back, we can usually forgive people's mistakes and learn more about ourselves in the process. So hugely moving episode, so many great scenes in it. I hope you enjoyed this slightly different take on this, and I didn't pick out one specific scene, but gave you a highlight of a few of the ones that I think are most significant for their relationship. Hope you enjoy this. Let me know what you thought. Let me know as well what your favorite scene is in episode 10. I'm going to try to go back to the old system of using one scene. Subscribe and enable notifications if you like this kind of video, and if you want to know more about other dramas as well. I will do some different videos soon as well. Thanks for being here. See you soon.